Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, I know a number of players that have played for New England, and there's a certain amount of compromise that you give in going to New England. Now, Gronk is very fortunate. He was drafted by New England. He's gotten a second contract with New England, but Gronk had a lot of health issues, had a lot of question marks as far as his durability when he came from Arizona and they drafted him. They drafted him in the second round. Now, where are you going to get a player like Rob Gronkowski in the second round? So I have to be careful when I say this is New England developed him. They made him into who he is. They weren't running the kind of offense they ran until they got Gronk. And you've seen them, they've adapted, they've moved him outside, they've highlighted his ability. I mean, he's had a fabulous career there. But from a personality standpoint, I know, Nick, you think that the 47-man roster or the 53-man roster there in New England, it's really like one set, the New England way and the way they accept Gronk into the system there and allow him to do a lot of other things that they wouldn't allow other Patriots to do. So I would say that they've compromised a little bit and allowed Gronk to fulfill, to maybe be true to his personality. But anyone in the league knows, man, when you go into New England, like, this is not about fun and games. Like, this is not about having a good time. This is about constant. It's like going to a football factory and everything is going to be so condensed. Everything's going to be so intense on a daily basis. It's not going to be as fun as the other teams in the league. So I believe that Gronk, he's benefited from being in New England because I believe it's given him the type of discipline and the career where they can highlight his ability. But I'm not surprised, that Gronk is not happy in New England.
But one thing that is not a benefit of being drafted by the Patriots and being there your entire career is you do not have the perspective of how the other side lives. And that means not only do you probably believe that the fun they're having in Philadelphia is maybe way more fun than they're actually having, but you also have no idea how miserable 3-13 feels. How about 5-11?
Right.
What about even 8-8?
Yeah. What about missing the playoffs?
Exactly right. What if, forget being one of the worst teams in the league, what about just being, where Los Angeles Chargers were last year? You're in a bunch of games, you're mediocre, but you're not going to the postseason. Gronk's been in the league 8 years. The Patriots in those 8 years have made the Super Bowl 4 times. They've won the Super Bowl 2 times. He obviously was not a part of one of those Super Bowl wins as far as the actual game, but was a part of the season. So I understand why for him, he might be feeling like, man, the winning stuff it's great, but it's not everything. Kevin Durant had an interesting quote this weekend. He was asked about the ejections and the technicals, and his quote said it was, quote, "After winning the championship, I learned that much hadn't changed. I thought it would fill a certain void. It didn't." And I do wonder if for a player such as Gronk, he is to a place where, whatever part of me needed to be satiated by being a champion, that is now satisfied. I see Philly, the fun they have. What about Jacksonville? They were a Final Four team. They seem to be having a lot of fun. We see the type of team Los Angeles is seeming to trying to build. That looks a lot of fun. And what's going on in New England, like as you've said before, not a whole lot of fun in New England.
Well, you said something interesting, Cece. You said you make certain compromises and sacrifices when you come play for the Patriots, because the Patriots have this thing called the Patriot Way, and we kind of laugh and mock it. But for all the non-fun days and nights that you have during the season as a football player, at the end of it, you are playing in the postseason for the most part in recent history, and you are most likely, in it until the very end, and it could very well be yours to win. And those are the sacrifices you make. But I don't understand what the fun is that you could potentially have if you're not playing for the Patriots. Because isn't this about winning? Isn't the goal winning?
Winning is part of the goal, but as a professional athlete, you'd like to be able to understand, engage in a lot of different things. New England, from a social media standpoint, from a comment standpoint, their comments are monitored more than any. Actually, they are put on restriction. So the personalities that you see with the Patriots, they're not their personalities. Everyone is told what to say, how to react, and how they will treat things. Their injuries they won't talk about. They won't talk about their teammates. And there's a sense that Jenna, I can understand your question, winning, but there's also a sense of lack of appreciation in the building. There is a new
appreciation for the players?
Yeah, absolutely.
For what they do.
There is a lack of appreciation for what they do. They feel like they can replace you. It's an organization that has a reach that can reach out and get veteran players and be able to plug them in. And everything in New England's about money. It's not about doing your job, but it's about money. And even when you do your job, you're not going to be paid on the rate that other players are paid in the league. So you have to compromise as far as what you're going to do socially. You have to compromise as far as the amount of money that you're going to be able to make. And every day in New England, you can lose your job. Now, that's not everywhere in the league. Every time you walk into one Patriot Way, you can lose your job. They are trying to replace you on a regular basis more so than the other teams.
And when you say restriction, just think back to this year. Gronk said, I want to talk about the celebrations. I'm not supposed to talk about the celebrations. I want to talk about it. They told me not to talk about the celebrations. That might seem like a petty, silly thing.
I get that.
But it's just the lack of freedom. There are a lot of, no matter what your job is or no matter what your place in the world is, I think people enjoy having the freedom to do things even if they're not going to do them. Right? If we think about the just big picture outside of things, like I'm not going to go be a part of a political protest today, but I'd be furious if all of a sudden FS1 said, hey, Nick, by the way, you're not allowed to in your own time go be a part of that. You know, does that make sense?
That
just
does make
the ability
sense.
to live your own truth. I understand why Gronk and the winning, he's numb to it. He's always won. Like, as a pro, he's never had a bad year. It's not like you can remember, oh, man, that 1, 6, and 10 years sucked. Like, that's never happened with them.
The great Walter Payton, after years and years of losing with the Bears, he finally won with Mike Ditka, the great season they had. And after the game, someone interviewed him, and they asked him, Walter, you finally reached the pinnacle of your pro career. How does it feel? And he said, I'm a little disappointed. I thought there would be more there. Now, yes, people want to win, but winning can't be the end all because they wouldn't keep playing year after year after year. There are other things that you have to accomplish as a professional. You saw Danny Amendola decide to leave after changing his career, leaving the Rams, coming to New England. The last 3 years, he's taken a salary reduction. He saved them in the playoffs this year.
Right.
And you saw when he left to go to Miami, he finally got compensated. What Gronk tweeted to him. Man, good luck and congrats. You're free.
You're free and happy. Yeah.
Why would he say something like that?
But if winning is the thing you're in it for, and a lot of these players, that's what they want to do is win.
That sounds good in the press conference, Jenna, but they're not in it for that, all right? The number one thing you come to the National Football League, I'm getting ready to make me some money. All of us are getting ready to make some money. All of us ain't going to win. But I'm here to make some money, and I'm getting ready to make a career. Now, everyone sounds, oh, that's the right thing to say. Oh, yeah, I'm here about winning. Let me tell you something. You stop paying them, and you see how many of them are there just to win.
There's a reason, though, that the Patriots are in it at the very end. It's they do things a certain way, like it or not. There is a reason why they hold their standard up here.
That's something that is Coach Mangini would fully agree with you. I'm not sure exactly where Chris stands on it. I think that is more myth than fact. I think the reason the Patriots have held their standing the way it is not their social media policy, is not their press conference policy. I think it's their head coach and quarterback. I think, and the system those two have put in place as far as from the head coach managing the cap, from the quarterback continually improving. I think
you
some
don't
of the
think
other
it's
stuff,
the culture, that all of it is the culture, that it is buttoned up, head down, we don't look past this coming week ever, and all these things are small little
I believe it is the culture,
steps.
but it's also the culture, too, that got Malcolm Butler benched in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's that kind of culture that you have sacrificed everything. You're in the biggest game of your life, and the man who benched you, you can't even get a straight answer from him. He won't even talk to you as a man. So you talk about the Patriot Way, yeah, there's some benefits to it, but there are a bunch of drawbacks. And there's also 31 other teams that you can play for and have some fun.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.